I was just passing by Thokoza hostel, and then as I was passing, I see something which caught my eye. It says Thokoza Hostel Beer Hall, where I will assume it says they go and have alcohol there during their spare time. And then I just started thinking, actually, that we as Africans, there's a lot of who we are, what we used to do, that the Europeans deprived us from doing, and instead replaced it with their own. As Africans, it occurred to me that we used to brew our own umqombothi, right, before the European men came to Africa and deprived us from continuing with that tradition, where we brewed umqombothi and supplied each other with umqombothi in our respective communities. And it was done in a dignified way, and the people that drank umqombothi, they did it in a dignified way. And it is said these are the places where people discuss very important matters of national interest and come up with solutions, as they enjoyed umqombothi that they supplied themselves, or that were supplied by Africans. However, today, alcohol business is big business, and then one wonders why then the suppliers of alcohol to African communities are white businesses or European-owned businesses. Yet, when the same Europeans came here to Africa, we were supplying those kind of things ourselves. Two, it also occurred to me that in terms of food, we were self-sufficient. We were able to grow our own food and supply food to our own communities. At what point did we as Africans were deprived or were unable to supply ourselves with our own food? And suddenly, the food that we eat is supplied by European-owned businesses, yet we can supply our own food. And our forefathers had developed systems that were working, but somebody came and deprived us and destabilized those systems. Right? It is very critical for each and every one of us to have an honest self-reflection about this, to say, are we really incapable? I think the answer is no. The answer is definitely a no. Our forefathers have been doing this. However, somebody came and deprived us on what we were able to do. And thirdly, one last aspect, not last, but the third aspect, because there are many aspects of our lives that we're deprived of, was healthcare. We were able to cure and treat all the diseases that we had as Africans. However, today it is argued that 90% or even 100% of the population now relies on the European way of curing diseases or treating diseases. The same diseases that our own forefathers were able to cure. At one point, successfully so, at what point did we come to say the European way of doing things is better and more superior to the African way of doing things? And that baffles me. And I think it baffles everybody out there. However, the two examples or three examples that I've given illustrate the fact that we as Africans were capable, are still capable. The problem that we are facing is that somebody has worked on our minds in such a way that we inherently think the African way of doing things is inferior and is the wrong way. And these three examples are perfect examples to illustrate that, whereby I can argue that our system of providing food or food security to us ourselves as Africans was well tried and tested, but as we know, that was destabilized by the Europeans when they took our land away from us, and they used that land for themselves. And then now people are saying Africans cannot farm. That's absurd and nonsensical, right? And then today, alcohol business is big business, and Africans that used to brew alcohol and supply it to their own communities were deprived of their livelihoods by the introduction of supplies from European-owned businesses and introduction of laws that discouraged Africans from brewing their own alcohol for their own consumption. And same goes with healthcare. We had our own medicines, which were very effective, and they're still effective. And I know of many cases of people that went to hospitals and they could not be helped, and they then went to traditional healers who managed to help them, and that must be accepted and must be recognized. And the question now becomes, what is it that we as Africans, without reliance on Europeans, need to do going forward to make sure we reclaim what our forefathers used to have and bring back the dignity back to our own communities, so that they know that they are capable, they are not inferior to anyone. And for me, this starts with us as Africans finding solutions to our own problems, starting perhaps with the 3 examples that I've used, which I think can easily be done. I thank you.